Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever time it is for you. Thank you for tuning into your daily dose of donkey with Ginger. We're here doing sports talk again. I am the one and only Viking Donkey, joined by the best co-host in the land, the mutant Gingy.
Gingy in the house. What's up? Madden 21.
For the first time we're going to play it. We random teamed and got the Battle of the Midway going on. There was a little bit of sports news going on this week in terms of football, Gingy. You'd like to bring us into that?
Looking at another QB move, and if we're going to be talking about the New York Jets, especially, Sam Darnold moving down to Carolina. Donkey, I like the move. I mean, he wasn't doing well in Jets land, that's for sure.
No. And he had like the worst things that could ever happen. He had to play for Adam Gase, which we know can kill your career. Ask Ryan Tannehill. He also got mono at one point. I'm pretty sure you could go start for that offensive line this whole time there. Fresh start for Darnold, I think, is a good thing. I hope it works out for him. And if it does, Carolina just made a heck of a steal because they did not give up too much in terms of getting a quarterback, if that is a starting level quarterback, which is yet to be seen because you could argue he hasn't performed to that level. But if he performs to, what was he, like 4th overall, 5th overall? If he performs to that, that's a heck of a steal right there.
Yeah, I agree. And I think Carolina is a team that could take a chance. They need somebody down there.
Yeah, they do. And before anybody judges me, I haven't played Madden in over a decade. It was 10 years ago last time I remember playing Madden, so, I just killed your guy on... I'm sorry, random dude trying to block. Clearly don't know what buttons do what, as you just saw me. Yep, we went about that. Anyway, yeah, the Darnold thing, I really like it for Carolina. Do you think he goes down there and it makes a difference for him? Do you think he even starts for Carolina is the question.
You're going to have to go into camp and you're going to have to see whether he really correlates, whether he's really a starting level guy. You know what I mean, Donkey?
Ooh, swagger. We're going to show some swagger. And yeah, that's true. But that frees up another quarterback. Does that mean Teddy Bridgewater's now on the market? Is he a guy you can go out and get?
I mean, I'd like to see those two compete against each other. That would be something. He's played the backup role before.
I don't know what buttons do what. Anyway, but so does that mean Carolina's no longer looking at quarterback in the draft? Because they were in a spot where they could have potentially picked one up. Or do they triple dip here and say, we're going to get a young guy to go with the young guy we drafted last year in Greer? Because obviously they don't think too highly of Greer or they wouldn't have went out and got Sam Darnold. And then they still have Bridgewater. Could they be a team that's maybe running 4 young potential quarterbacks next year?
It's possible. It's possible. And the line on this Jets team is god-awful, as you can see by the current gameplay and these run attempts here, Donkey.
What am I doing? How do I hit him? All right, there we go. But Steeler Land, we signed a couple more fringe roster guys. Any of this week's signings? I know there's a defensive lineman out there. Any of those tickle your fancy, Gingy?
I gotta wait until we can put together a complete unit to see who's going to be competing in the trenches of camp. You know what I mean, Donkey?
Yeah. Oh, should have got that ball. So that brings us to what today was teased about, which was our top 5 teams. I guess we can go ahead and I'll let you know these aren't my personal picks for top 5. There's a couple teams in there that confuse me. But I stand behind the algorithm that is creating your current daily dose power index. I guess it's Donk Nation Daily Dose Power Index. But Gingy, we'll let you go first since you're going against the machine. You can go ahead and lead us in with your number 5 team over the course of the 2020 NFL season.
Number 5 team, course of 2020. I am looking at a mainly defensive team, Donkey, but in the Los Angeles Rams.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
House.
Yeah, the Rams were a really good defensive team. I think they came in with the Dong Nation's 4th best defensive ranking. in terms of the overall power index, I believe they came in, oh man, number 11, I believe, is where they came in.
I don't know.
Go ahead and lead us into
you can't
why.
deny Aaron Donald on that defensive line. They're really he's really anchored that unit now and for many years, and I think that's a force to be reckoned with.
It is that defense is no doubt a unit to get there. I just didn't, and the stats just don't like them because that offense was.
Yes, I know. You're piloted by Jared Goff most of the season, and Jared Goff with a ripped up thumb, and who was the backup again?
Injuries at receiver. Wolford? Wolford played for them, I think is what his name was.
Yes, that is the one, Donkey. Yeah, I know. There's some things there, but
injuries,
I think they have potential.
There's definitely a lot of talent that was on that roster. Injuries kind of kept them back, and really performance wasn't. It wasn't what you would. I thought I was throwing the football.
And maybe I'm a little bit biased, Donkey, because you just got that vision into the future, and that team with Matt Stafford at quarterback next year makes me pretty excited.
I don't know. That defense to me goes down. I just don't think their offense has the same hit it did because when they were really good is when Gurley was an all-world running back. And that's why they didn't even make the top 10 on the power index. As a matter of fact, we have it coming in at number 5. AFC North football here.
Yeah.
That is the Baltimore Ravens coming in led by a really good defense and an offense that could just control the ball. They came in with an overall rating of 85, which is the lower is the better, just beating out the Kansas City Chiefs, by the way. So if anyone's curious, the Chiefs came in just outside the top 5 as Baltimore comes in at number 5. And to be honest, that was a good team. That's a team that has an MVP quarterback. That's a team that had a really good defense. And they have to stop coming up short in the playoffs. It's really what held them down is they just come up short in the playoffs.
True that.
Just run out of bounds, dude.
True that, Donkey.
That brings us up to number 4.
Gingy's number 4. We are looking at the Kansas City Chiefs. You know why, Donkey. We talked about it in terms of their offense last week. Explosive. Been saying it all season. Come through in the clutch when they need the big plays. You know, I believe in Patty Mahomes at this point as your long-term franchise guy who, you know, depending on some roster moves, might be able to bring you 1 or 2 more while he's there. Still a dangerous team, my number 4.
That's a good football team. Oh, that's a team I did like. They came in 6th for the power rankings. Biggest weakness for them is their offense didn't really stand out this year, and their defense was just a top 10 unit. I mean, an overall solid team made the Super Bowl. There is a reason they made the Super Bowl, and I think the statistics don't do them well because when we talked about them before, and we have talked about it, they just have the little clutch vibe about them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, they just make... Yeah, and that doesn't show up on the stats. And that's why they fell to like 6 in the power rankings. But that team, I definitely do like them. I love what they're able to do. And it's just... That was the team that surprised me when I looked and they didn't make the top 5 since I did make the Super Bowl. But when you look at the stats, the stats aren't pretty for them. But they won the football games, and at the end of the day, that's what matters is winning those football games. So I think that's a good team to come in at number 4. And the power index, by the way, has a number 4 that might surprise you here, Gingy.
Yeah? What do you got for us?
It's your and my personal favorite, Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, really?
The Steelers, while repping a very offense, I think they came in 12th or 13th in the power index, repped the number 1 defense for the power index. They had the best defense, and when you look at that team statistically, it makes sense. They won 11 straight games for a reason, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that shows up in the power index because the power index doesn't take into account recency bias. The power index doesn't realize that that team at the end of the year was not that team at the beginning of the year. The power index just saw a defense that manhandled everybody. You're talking second most turnovers, like third fewest points, yards per game in the top 5. That defense was so good for so long that even being bad for a month-ish couldn't outdo what it did positive. So they came in for number 4, mainly on just the back of that defense and how great they were playing. No help from the offense, really. I mean, it was a very subpar offense. And if you look at the numbers after the defense stopped giving them short fields, dude, that offense was bad. It was not pretty after they stopped giving them short field. However, if you take that team and just look at the beginning, when they set the offense up, they were able to cash in. The offense was pretty good in the red zone. And when you look at the 2020 season as a whole, I don't think putting the Steelers at 4 when you just consider the whole team for a whole season is a bad thing. But then performance at the end of the year and recency bias, you have to be like, man, there's no way that team deserves to be there. So it's like, to me, that was a weird one. It's a tale of two cities because, yeah, that Steelers team was really good, but the way they ended, man, I had a hard time not trying to change the stats to make them not appear because I'm like, oh, I don't want to talk about the way that season ended again.
Yeah, it all fell apart after Thanksgiving.
Whoops. Good job, Daniel Jones.
Oh,
yeah, good tackle, baby. Let's go. He hit you like a champ. All right. Well, that brings us to, by the way, for anyone who's curious, the Pittsburgh Steelers were the Power Index number 1 ranked AFC team. Just makes you think, what could have been?
Let's go.
What could have been? Oh, yeah, baby.
Oh.
All right, Gingy. Number 3.
Number 3, coming in on the Gingy scale here, we are looking at the Buffalo Bills.
Good
Josh Allen, the quarterback, he made some major progressions, I believe, in
Number 8 in the Power
2020.
Index.
Hmm?
Number 8 in the Power Index, but yeah, that's a solid team. Definitely. Josh Allen probably took one of the biggest steps you have ever seen a quarterback take. A guy who is barely completing 40% of his or 50% of his passes jumps up to what, almost 70 this year? Like, that step is astronomical and has everyone believing now that any quarterback that struggles can all of a sudden just be the next Josh Allen.
Not
There's a
to
reason
mention
quarterbacks
that
don't take that.
Stephon Diggs is the trade of the year to that team in terms of their improvement on that offense. He's a huge weapon. Josh Allen has the cannon of an arm, and now he has a dude that can blow the top off. Truly
They were
blow the
buoyed
top off.
by a better offense and defense. Pretty good defensive line there, all things considered. They have, the cornerback's name slipping my mind, and excuse me there, that was rude. But they have a good corner on the outside. They have a pretty decent line. That was all in all a good team. There's a reason they made the AFC Championship game, and there's a reason why 2 years ago everyone was saying when that last New England team won, the last Brady one, they're like, hey, watch out for that Buffalo team because they're good a year earlier than anyone thought.
Yeah. Yeah, and not to mention, I think, Donkey, that if they are a good team throughout the course of the regular season, playing in Buffalo in January can be a true advantage for that team.
Yeah. Especially if they actually get to have some fans, huh?
Yeah, let's hope so, right?
I certainly hope so. Anyway, that brings me to number 3 on your Donk Nation Daily Dose Power Index. Green Bay Packers, buoyed by the best unit because their gap between first and second in terms of units was almost double any other gap. And that's the fact that the Green Bay Packers offense this year was so good. We talked about them last week in the offensive rankings. You can't stop their running game. You can't stop their passing game because if you try to stop one of them, the other one's going to kill you. Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers, which, by the way, I heard someone talking about Aaron Rodgers to New England, and I was like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, my. Let's not.
Yeah, but that team was so good and would have been so much better if they didn't have, like, literally just a league average defense. Weakness was the defense. It's unfortunate because that offense was so good, and you saw what Aaron Rodgers can do. And I hate to say it, but if there's one guy to leave a drive at the end of the field, I'm going to put my money on, it's Aaron Rodgers, because that dude has Hail Marys all about him. And I still don't understand how you kick a field goal with Aaron Rodgers in the NFC Championship game.
That's a tough spot.
Yeah, fall backwards, Tate.
Yes, get him down. Let's go,
All right.
Jets. J-E-T-S.
Anything to say about that team coming in, Gingy? Anything
Well,
about the Packers you like?
You know, I'll have a lot to say about that team in a second here, Donkey.
Oh, are we can go to number 2 if that's your number 2.
Number 2 coming in on the Gingy list would be those Green Bay Packers. For that reason, Aaron Rodgers, MVP season. Okay, let's paint the portrait here, Donkey. Packers draft a quarterback this last offseason, right?
Yep.
We're
They definitely did that.
We're seeing Aaron Rodgers' heir apparent here, like this old boy.
I like throwing the ball to that guy more than my team.
Right across the middle, old boy.
I hit the wrong button to be 1,000% honest with anyone watching.
That's fun.
All right, back to the Packers.
The Packers, yes. Aaron Rodgers, he getting drafted as heir apparent right in front of him, and he comes in, has an MVP season, puts together, makes Davante Adams look fantastic. Oh boy.
Yeah. Arguably the best receiver in the league last year based off the way he played.
Yeah, seriously. And they had a heck of a season. And Donkey, I feel like they were really the biggest threat to Tampa Bay in the playoffs throughout this season.
Yeah, they definitely gave them a heck of a game. That coaching maybe was the reason it didn't go any farther.
Ooh. Ouch. You say so, Donkey?
Well, I'm sorry. If you have Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady, why are you betting on Tom Brady failing instead of Aaron Rodgers succeeding? So, I mean, I can't believe the coaching there. But if you're ready, number 2, Daily Dose.
Let's hear your number 2,
Daily Dose. The first of, in my opinion, the 2 most balanced teams in the NFL this year. A team that beat the Super Bowl champion twice this year. Don't go for the ball. Your New Orleans Saints. Led by a guy who maybe didn't have the arm talent he used to have, and Drew Brees. Led by a defense that really wasn't flashy, but just got the job done after the first 4 weeks. And just led a balanced team that would just control the ball, not let you touch the ball, get you 3 and out, control the ball. Before you know it, the half's over and you're down 14-3. It just seemed the way New Orleans did it. They did it so well, and they were just such a balanced team that the rankings just loved them.
Really good coaching. They're down in New Orleans.
Yeah.
I agree. They got some, all-time Drew Brees shout-out retirement. That's going to be a tough move for them moving forward. Still got Alvin Kamara, who is a dual threat out of the backfield.
Remember the quarterback I wanted the Steelers to sign just because, hey, what happens if you let him sit a year and find out last year was? That's Jameis Winston. And I think that's going to be the surprise next year. Jameis is going to perform, and I don't think people are really prepared for that. I think him getting able to go to an offense where the coordinator's going to do what's best for him is going to really help. Heck, he might not even be their starting quarterback, and I might just be talking down my butt right now. But I really, really like Jameis Winston going there starting into next year. But I loved the way that team looked this year. And they had Super Bowl aspirations. Unfortunately, Drew Brees just couldn't be up to the dime at the end of the year. The injury was holding him back a little bit, I think. And they just didn't have it in the playoffs.
Yep.
And that brings us to... Really? Your number... Oh, no. I dove out of bounds. The number one team. Are we in agreement? Does Gingy agree with the Donk Nation Daily Dose power rankings at number 1?
Ginger's number 1 team overall throughout the year, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Ding, ding, ding.
And here,
Not even a division winner.
And I would like to paint a picture for you on why we're talking about this. Tampa Bay, I was not a believer at the beginning of the season. And frankly, I still stand by that decision. At the beginning of the season, that team wasn't ready. However, that team did exactly what any fan base and what any football coach, what anybody who appreciates football would want them to do, and they continually got better each game they played throughout the season. And you could see it. You could see it, though. You could see it happening. By the time Week 10, Week 11 rolls around, that team starts really clicking, starts really rolling. Oh, looking dangerous, Donkey. And overall, that's why overall, Week 1, all the way to Super Bowl weekend, I would say the number 1 team, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Definitely. That offense was leveled. That offense was led by the greatest player to ever play football, and Tom Brady. That offense really started clicking because they started getting used to each other. I mean, and I said it before, you don't want to judge a team, especially a team without any preseason games in those first 5 weeks. You didn't want to judge them. And not only was it the first 5 weeks, you have to remember, this is the first time Tom Brady's ever been with a new team and a new system. And they didn't have an offseason to gel. It's not like Tom Brady was able to go throw passes every day to Mike Evans and Godwin and, well, he knows Gronk pretty well, but Cameron Brate. It was a rough situation, and you just had a feeling that team was going to turn into something special just because Tom Brady was there and the weapons were there. I joked with my wife before. I'm like, if Tom Brady's smart, the next team he looks to go to is going to be Tampa Bay because, one, it's close to Miami, so Giselle will be happy because, you know, she makes more money, so what she does matters. And you get to go to a team that's already stacked with a good offensive coach and a good offensive talent crew. He just went, he put him above. That defense started taking steps forward. Jason Pierre-Paul, Ndamukong Suh, Shaq Barrett. Who's the middle linebacker out there? The guy that we could have had if we didn't. Devin, not Devin Bush. Who's the other one? Devin White. I mean, the corner started playing well at the end. Shout out to my boy Jordan Whitehead out there. Pit Boys getting it done. Also, shout out to Shady McCoy. Pit Boys getting it done. Didn't play like at all, but hey, was on that team, so got to give him a boost for that. And that was just, I don't know, that was your prototypical gonna be the best team. A lot of people predicted it before the season just based off the way it went. It went that way, and something really important happened to teams like that, teams like Green Bay. They avoided that detrimental injury. Say what you want. A lot of times, the teams that end up as the best teams, as the best ranked teams, are the teams that avoid that detrimental injury. And they stayed healthy. Sure, they lost some offensive linemen, but replaceable guys.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Donkey. Like I said, overall, played an entire season, start to finish. Not any one part. Continual progression. It was a good thing to watch.
It was, just like that catch, because I finally threw the ball forward. Those
Let's go.
Are your Daily Dose, or Donk Nation Daily Dose, Power Index rankings versus the Gingy's personal power rankings for your 2020 best teams. Let us know what you think. Let us know how you feel. If you disagree, put your rankings out there. Tell us why you don't agree with a team we had somewhere. I mean, all in all, it's not the easiest thing to rank all these teams. As you can see that, I mean, we had a Super Bowl team that really didn't make it very high in either ranking for some reason or not. And, look at that move. But, I mean, it's a fun thing to do out here. It's a good way to get a conversation. We'd love to get some involvement, have y'all hit us up. But I think before we go, we got to go to that fun little thing where we give a shout out. Gingy, you got a shout out for this week?
Heck yes, Donkey. Gingy's got a shout out. Shout out defensive end T.J. Carter. That was the sign this week with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Drafted by the Arizona Cardinals as an undrafted free agent after the 2020 draft. So he came into the Cardinals as an undrafted free agent. Got released before camp. Comes to the Steelers. Looking forward to getting some competition in camp at that defensive end spot. But that's a pretty strong position on our football team presently.
On my screen, that guy was now about it all. Yeah. Roster fillers. Woot, woot. But yeah, it's a good time. They get to get their name mentioned. I mean, that's cool. If I had to give a shout out this week, I have to give a shout out to guys who aren't signed right now that are out there putting in the work, getting ready, hoping the team calls them. Guys like Alejandro Villanueva, James Conner are the two I want to personally mention because maybe current Steelers, maybe ex-Steelers right now, nobody is on nobody's team. But hey, go out there, get the work done, get that money at the end of the day. Because y'all are playing a sport that can mess with your head. I mean, we've seen a couple shootings recently that dealt with football players that just seem to have lost their marbles, man. You don't wish that on anybody. So while you can, go out there, get yourself paid, and take care of yourself. That's all you can hope for, and that's all you can wish on any of these guys. Because they put their lives, their mental abilities on the line for our entertainment.
Good shout out, Donkey. Good shout out. Wanted to mention one other thing about the Steelers this week having a Zoom meeting with Najee down there in Alabama, Donkey. Are they bringing a running back in the first round?
Please, no running backs.
I don't know about a running
I will
back
get
in the
into that
first
later
round.
if we do draft one, but please no first round running backs. That's such a bad circumstance.
I agree with you.
Can I get points on the board? Not quite. But anyway, that brings us right near the end of our show. So we're going to do the same thing we normally do. We're going to give you the ability to reach out to us. Leave us a comment. Hit me up at Viking Donkey on Xbox, Viking_Donkey at Twitch and Twitter. You can just leave us a comment, send us an email, let us know how we're doing, let us know what you feel about, let us know if there's anything you want to see talked about on a future episode. And of course, you can always reach Gingy at
Mutant Gingy, Xbox Live, rocking out, playing some Madden. You know what we do.
It is what we're doing, and I'm trying to score my first ever Madden touchdown in this decade, people. So give me some hope. Let's see if I can do it before we sign off. Of course not. But Battle of the Midway will continue. You can see it on stream. Hopefully I score a touchdown. We'll leave you guessing because I don't want to embarrass myself if I don't get one at all. And just so everybody knows, you got to wave them if you got them.
You know what, Steelers Nation? Take that yellow towel and wave them if you got them, people. Woot woot. Off season. Not touchdown. Nice play, dog. Nice play.